morning, Tri-Cities. It's 9 o'clock on Friday. I'm Karl and it's time for Coffee with Karl. Uh, we are so excited to kick off our fifth season of doing Coffee with Karl. It's really been a huge, it's one of my favorite things since I've come to try to be able to do. Today we have a special episode with our building mate. I'd like to welcome Kevin Lewis of Visit Tri-Cities. Excuse me. Kevin is the president and CEO. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Karl. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Also with Kevin is Michelle York, who is the business development manager for Visit Tri-Cities. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming on this morning. Just some housekeeping things. First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Mike Miller with Moon Security. Mike's one of our board members, longstanding, and Moon Security is a great company. They actually provide some fire support services for us here in our business center, the Tri-Cities Business Center on Grand Ridge by the Convention Center. Mike and his team do a great job. If you have any security questions about your home or business, Mike and his team would be happy to hook you up. So thanks to Mike and Moon Security for sponsoring Coffee with Karl. Also today is International Women's Day. And so this week we've been recognizing through our social media all of our TriDeck team members that are women. We have a great team over here. They do a wonderful job. One of which is Tracy, that actually puts together Coffee with Karl. Makes it so easy for me. It was her idea. She does everything. All I have to do is show up and drink coffee. So we really appreciate the women on our team and our whole team over here at TriDeck. And all right, well, let's get into it. Let's start off with our tradition of coffee mugs. I thought about Visit Tri-Cities, and I thought about my travel schedule. And so today I'm going with the Tri-Cities Airport mug, which I thought was appropriate because it is the best airport maybe in the world, but for sure in Washington State. I get to fly out at 5 o'clock in the morning this week, like I did for the last 2 weeks, to go to Seattle. It's amazing being in Seattle before 6 o'clock, but it's really amazing starting off the day from the Tri-Cities Airport. And of course, Buck Taft is the airport director and also the chair of Visit Tri-Cities. So I thought this mug was appropriate, and always happy to support the airport. It's amazing.
Great shout out to the airport and to Buck. He's our chair, does a fantastic job. And the airport is such a critical component in tourism and economic development. It's just great to have a facility that's run the way it is and have the flights that we do. So thanks, Karl, for sure.
Yep, you bet. Kevin, do you have a mug or a story you want to share with us this morning?
I have a really interesting one here. I don't know if you can see that. This is from a Yuck-Skate tournament that I attended. I was invited, was working with the National Horseshoe Pitchers, which is an event that's coming here in the summer. We can talk about that a little later. But with my work with that group in years past, in 2017, I was invited to go to attend the International Yuck-Skate tournament in South Africa. Yuck-Skate is a pitching sport that is similar to horseshoes. It's a little different though. I like to say it's a throwing a stick at a stick. Basically, you have a skay that looks like a rolling pin with one of the one of the handles chopped off, and these South Africans throw this stick down. There's a lot of strategy to it or whatever, but there's a relationship between the National Horseshoe Pitchers Association and the Yuck-Skate Federation, and they invite a contingent from the U.S. to go down and play in their international tournament. And I got to go down there and play, and this was one of the gifts that I got from that event.
Nice.
Spent a week down there, and some really, really neat stories of that. We're hoping to get some of the South Africans up here when we host the event in the summer this year. But so that's my mug this morning. I have lots of stories I could tell from that, but that's
that's a great one to kick off. Michelle, how about you? Do you have a mug or a coffee story you want to share with us this morning?
I do. So I have my mug. It's from Warsaw, Poland. And although I've never been to Warsaw, I actually host exchange students. I've had several of them. So, I start brainwashing them early on how great Tri-Cities is. So they come back here. So I have ambassadors all over the world now. We've hosted exchange students from Tunisia and Bosnia Herzegovina. We've had them from Pakistan and the Ukraine, Turkey, Germany, and my last one was actually from Poland. So that's the mug I have today.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was great. Thanks for sharing that with us. Well, let's get right into it. Kevin, I think you got kind of an overview or some slides you want to share with us to kick us off. And then for our audience that's joining us on Zoom, if you do have any questions for Kevin and Michelle as we go through it, you can ask questions with the question and answer feature down below. If you're joining us on social media, you can always put your questions in the comments and we'll do our best to get to everybody that asks a question. So take it away, Kevin.
Super. Well, let me just share screen real quick here, and it'll help prompt us along. The Visit Tri-Cities is the destination marketing organization for this region, and we are a 501c6 organization funded really three sources: lodging tax, tourism performance agreements, and through our partners and members and some advertising. We get a little bit of the lodging tax, about 1%. 1% of the lodging tax comes to us. Tourism performance agreements are something that we've coordinated. The legislators back in, I think, 2004 created the opportunity for these agreements, which allow the hospitality industry to contribute to the destination marketing in the area. And so our hoteliers agreed to provide, they charge a fee to people who stay in the hotels, and that fee goes directly to us via, I guess, directly in a roundabout way. It goes through the cities through an interlocal agreement that then comes to us to operate the marketing of the destination. And then again, these great partners and members. And the reason for all of this is it comes back to what you're doing, Karl. It's economic development. Let me make sure I can switch slides here. There you go. We'll get into some numbers in just a minute as we talk over economic development. But our vision really is to inspire, reward, and celebrate the spirit of exploration and discovery. And we found this area was really founded and grows out of this whole spirit of exploration and discovery. We think that's a really key component of the area, but it's also a key component in travel. And when people are looking for destinations to go to, they've got this spirit of exploration and discovery. They can want to see new things, discover new things, and those can be venues and experiences, but it can also be self-discovery, discovery within themselves. And so that's the vision, is that we just inspire, reward, and celebrate that. But our mission really is to fuel transformational growth in the Tri-Cities through tourism. And the way that works, I'll skip down to this, is when you talk about the visitor economy. Visitation brings about $600 million in economic impact into this destination every year. 3.72 million visitors come here. That influences 5,700 direct jobs in the area, and brings in about 75 million in local taxes that help sustain and support the things that are going on here. So it really does contribute to the economy, in that it brings these dollars from outside the area, puts them into our economy, and starts this positive economic cycle. You get the benefits of the direct spending. You get the indirect benefits that fuel business interactions, the labor income, the suppliers and providers for hospitality businesses, construction, engineering, professional services, all of that happen. And then the induced impacts are things like employee spending and business output from all those hospitality businesses. And it also spurs on new business development. We have a number of golf courses in the area and other hospitality-related facilities that are really sustained and supported through the visitors that come in and use those. As a local area, we couldn't support the number of restaurants and businesses that we have on our own. We need the visitors to help do that, and that provides a better quality of life for the people that live here, the different amenities and things that are there for us to do. And then, as you can see on the slide, tax revenues support the local governments and the jobs that are needed to provide safety and emergency services and all of that, schools and everything else. Those tax revenues help offset the taxes that the residents would have to pay if they were here, to the tune of about $600 per household annually. So we're each getting about $600 in tax relief from the taxes and revenue they're coming in from visitors. That's the basic economics of tourism. I'll pause here for a minute if there's anything you want to talk about that further, or dig into that any further.
Yeah, I think the thing that even beyond this, which is great. I mean, I think you guys have done a really, really good job, Kevin, and putting together. I know you have a dashboard for board members where you actually share a lot of this data. And I think the data is really, really good. I think the other thing is that the more amenities the community creates, potentially to draw in tourists, also make a better way of life. And I think you hit on that with your last point, saying that, the things that tourists like to do is also really good for people to live here, and it kind of increases our quality of life. So it's just, I appreciate the fact that all these things are interrelated, and it's all about, all of us living here together in the same community. And tourism and visitation is such a huge part of, the vitality of our community.
Yeah. What you're kind of alluding to here is maybe this slide, this idea that if you build a place where people want to visit, then you build a place that people want to live, right? And you create this circle. It starts with a visit. People want to live there, then they want to work there. You get a great work environment, and if they work there, they want to invest in it. And that just continues this cycle. And so it's a part of the economic development cycle of a community. And we have some great opportunity here, I think. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about these events that are coming up as we move down, down the process here in the discussion. Is they even add a deeper and a richer component to this economic cycle, where it's not just a quick visitation, but it's a immersion into a community in different ways. And Michelle will have a chance to talk to us a little bit about that too. But as I kind of move down, just a little bit more about our office, we really operate on 4 pillars of success. We have a strategic sales pillar, effective marketing, heavily involved in destination development, that collaboration with all of the organizations and agencies that are developing the destination. We have a strong pillar of proactive community engagement, and within, we really focus on innovative and meaningful operations in our organization. We want to be innovating the things, doing the things that will create more efficiencies and more success as we go down the road. Our sales teams work to bring in conventions, sporting events, and those kinds of things. So they're working essentially the group sales, and then the marketing team is supporting all of that group sales environment, but also through advertising and promotion and all of those elements. And then this collaborative destination development, Michelle's role, it falls into this. She crosses sort of a wide breadth of the organization here. She's involved in the strategic sales, the effective marketing, but has a really important role in the destination development and the community engagement. And Michelle, maybe you can talk a little to that, just what you're involved in and how you're doing that.
Sure. Well, as Kevin was saying, I mean, we're really here to promote our destination, and that includes marketing and just selling what we have to offer here. And so our organization, we offer free memberships to tourism related businesses. And so if you're a tourism related business, you're not currently a free member, absolutely reach out to me. There are so many things we could help with. We can help with, just increased promotional materials. We can offer you our annual and mid-year reports. We can promote you on our social media platforms. And so there's just a great way to collaborate with things that we have and the tools that we use. But also we're able to then market people to the various tournaments coming in and conventions coming in. And we also have a program called Show Your Badge. And so whether you're a small shop, or if you're a restaurant, or if you're, a trampoline park, let's say, you can offer various discounts to people that are visiting. And those discounts are only visible to the people that are coming in for these for, various conventions or tournament events. So we have all kinds of programs to help the local businesses be more visible.
That's great.
Thanks. Yeah. Karl, you're involved somewhat with, you and I get to work a lot together through this collaborative destination development. We have an organization called the Tri-City River Shore Enhancement Council that has been around for a lot of years and has been, working to develop the river shore and create the assets that are along the river that help benefit visitors and residents alike, and some good things going on there. This year, one of the initiatives that we've been working on over the last year was finally bringing together some consensus and collaboration on the cable bridge lighting project. It's a project with this incredible historic bridge, built in the 70s, one of the first bridges of that type in the country. That's sort of a landmark and an icon in this area. You see it in almost all the graphics and logos and everything and images. And it's got some outdated lighting on it, and some residents, businesses got together and said, we would love to see this thing refreshed. And so that Tri-City River Shore Enhancement Council has pulled together groups and committees to try and initiate a project that will change the lighting from the old style to new LED remote control lighting that you can change colors and brighten up and celebrate events and activities. And so just got some real progress on that. An interlocal agreement's been signed now between the 4 jurisdictions, Pasco, Kennewick, and the Port of Pasco and the Port of Kennewick, to put some initial funding into that, to create a plan to see if we can make that happen. So those are the kinds of things that our organization get involved in that aren't just, it's not just the marketing side, right? It's collaborating to do some big things in the destination.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. I think I always think of the Oakland Bay Bridge. If you've ever been to San Francisco and been on that side at night, I think they have what's similar to what you guys are working on. And it's literally just captivating. Like, you can't stop looking at it. It's so cool. And I just think, to your point, Kevin, that, the cable bridge is such an icon for our community. To add that lighting element to it, I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. So projects like that, and some of the stuff that you're working on, the shoreline reconveyance and those kind of projects getting tied into those different organizations, development organizations, to see if we can enhance this destination even more than it already is.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. I think people have said, maybe even consultants, that collectively our predecessors worked with in the past, like, our community started at the river shore, and then we turned our backs on it and grew out. And all of these things that you're talking about are chances too. And I think you guys do a great job, promoting the trail system and the trail network and the biking and kayaking and everything that you can do on the river and river shore and the trail system, as a way to just get people down there and access to the river, which is totally part of our heritage and history. You talked about going back to the Native American people that were here first. I mean, this was really a gathering spot for them. Multiple tribes coming here to trade and hunt and fish and everything they did a long time ago, from time immemorial. So that's great.
That's good. Moving kind of forward, and I've kind of messed with the screen here for just a second. So let me see if I can get this right. I thought we'd talk a little bit more about our messaging strategy. And if I go here and share this now, let's try that. Back up again.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So over the last year, we've done, some kind of
actually, Kevin, I think we're seeing the other one. I'm sorry. I think we're seeing like your speaker notes. So like if you used your other screen, I'm sorry about that.
Let's see. Let me unshare. Let's try that again. Is that better? Is that the right one now?
I'm still seeing the same one.
Okay, let me. Oh, I know what I got to stop that. Sorry about that. Did I get it right this time?
It's okay.
That look good?
Nope, I'm still seeing the same one.
Wow. Okay. Well, something I did messed up my.
Oh, you're working on it, and maybe Michelle, I'm going to take a. Oh, there you go. Now we got it.
Got it. Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
My
Maybe just
technology.
quickly. No, it's the world that we live in. We totally understand. We do have a question from the audience,
Yeah.
and it is about the future of river cruises. As we're talking about the river, but I think we all read that, was it American Queen? I can't remember the name of the cruise line that, and not just on the Columbia, but on the whole river system. I think including the Mississippi and stuff. But what can you just give us maybe a quick update, Kevin or Michelle, on what's the status of river cruises here?
Yeah, I think that was one of the cruise lines that was coming here, and there are others that are still coming.
Okay.
But we haven't had contact with American to find out exactly what the situation is. They just sort of pulled the plug pretty
Yeah.
instantly. But the others, I've talked to the city of Richland who coordinates that dock and everything, and they said the others are still planning to come. But there's big impact there. Those people coming in from all over land at that dock and get out in our communities and get involved and spend their money. And so we definitely want to make whatever we can do to continue that success. We want to keep doing that.
Yeah. Thanks for that update.
You bet. This is just a slide that kind of demonstrates some of the new messaging strategies that we've worked on this year and we're rolling out. As we analyze what this destination is all about, there are a lot of nice gems in the destination, and in some ways it's really hard to describe what the destination is because there's so many little piece here and a little cool thing there and whatever. But our team got together and really tried to analyze what are the destination drivers and how can we help meet visitors and in the decision-making process where they are in that cycle and funnel them down to the activities that they're interested in. And it seems kind of simple when you lay it out this way, but it took a minute to get here, but really 5 core experience categories that we've come up with. And you'll see this as we talk about our destination, you'll see these 5 categories come up in all of our messaging and language going forward. And that's just, again, to help the visitors understand what is the Tri-Cities. And that's I'm new to this area. I came up here a year ago, and it took me a little while to get my grasp on, as an outsider, what do people really come here for? But wineries and vineyards, river recreation, and that includes everything on the river, in the river, and next to the river. Anything to do with the river is really a big draw. Our history and science here is really phenomenal, and I think you're going to see a lot of that. I've seen some research that shows, through the pandemic, people at first they couldn't travel at all, and so then when travel became open again, you had this kind of wave of what we call revenge travel. Some people called it revenge travel. It was just, I'm going anywhere and I'm getting out, and there was a big spark to get out. That kind of rolled into the next cycle of now they're planning their destinations a little further. There was a lot of international travel last year where people went, broader because they could. And now they're starting to cycle back into more immersive kind of experiences, where maybe again it's closer to home because of some of the international dynamics, but they want to understand where they live and what they're about more. And we have this incredible history and science component that is really unique in a destination where you just saw the announcement that the virtual tours of the B reactor are going to be open again this year, that they had planned to be closed for preservation work, but because of construction cycles and all of that, there's an opportunity for those to be open again. We just released the notice of virtual tours as well for those World War II sites, where you can go in and do 360 virtual tours and really immerse into this history, and so many compelling stories to hear and tell. And so that's another one of the key components of our visitation is our history and science product. And of course, that history goes all the way back to the indigenous people, and then Lewis and Clark and the discovery there, and it continues with PNNL and all the science and everything that's going here. Events and entertainment, we have a lot of neat gyms. One of the cool ones coming up, I don't know if how familiar you are with it, but the Tri-Town Get Down this year. Last year, it was the Uptown Get Down. It was a one-day music event with about 45 different musician bands, entertainment acts. This next year is going to be about 3 days, and we'll have about 110 different bands, and they've created what they're called fusions, which you're going to have a like a farmer's market type of a fusion, so music and food, and farmers market type food, and then there's a STEM fusion, and there's a wine fusion, or I think it's, what's it called? I don't think it's wine exactly, but it's all the beverages, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, some cool stuff there going on the events and entertainment. And of course, the last piece of that is just sunshine and open spaces, which is that's what the Tri-Cities, that wraps itself around everything about the Tri-Cities.
So I gotta ask this question. I think maybe again one of your predecessors came up with this tagline: 300 days of sunshine. I think we all know noted distinguished gentleman who often says, on average, 400 days of sunshine. Kevin, how many days does the sunshine in Tri-Cities?
Such a great question. We've been kind of pressured on that. We've actually kind of reeled back again. I new in the area, it was like I moved up in December, and I didn't see sunshine for about 3 or 4 weeks. So like, when does the 300 days of sunshine start? There's no question that we have a lot of sunshine here, and we have more than is typical in the Northwest. I think some years you might see 300 days. That depends on how you count a day of sunshine. But I think the key is that we have sunshine and open spaces in most parts of the year, and it's a great calling card.
Definitely more than Seattle has, and that's obviously one of your target markets, right? Where you're trying to pull folks in for that thing. And I did want to just give a shout out also on the Tri-Town Get Down. I think we're so excited to any way all of us can support that. It's a great opportunity. I think part of the discussion came out of the MyTri effort that the Regional Chamber of Commerce headed, and now on a future Coffee with Karl, we'll be back again, Kevin, talking about the Tri-Cities Strategic Alliance, how some of those initiatives and goals and committees have merged into it. But I think it was the Life Committee that had talked about doing something like that, and there's an event over in Boise called Tree Fort that I think there's some similarities and maybe some crossover. So really excited to learn more about. I know Emerald Asayam, who's one of your board members, is really supportive, as is Fuse, in the Tri-Town Get Down. So looking forward to more on that, and looking forward to helping any way we can, and of course, going to some good music and those fuses as well.
Yeah, it's the type of event that could really grow into something. You're familiar with, like you say, Tree Fort is a huge one that's close by. That's similar. South by Southwest in Austin has grown into an event that is now, I think the data I saw on that last was that it brings in about $380 million into the economy. Wow. That's amazing. We're in the initial stages of that, but what a great concept. And the fusions, the idea of these fusions is really, really important to this, because it's about music, but it's about everything that this destination represents too.
Yeah. Well, and the fusions kind of almost correspond to your 5 pillars as well. So it's a cool crossover.
Yeah. I like that. In fact, that it sort of just resonated that we've landed on the right messaging. So right, everybody sees the same thing in this destination.
And it's grown considerably, that Tri-Town Get Down, just within 1 year. And so this year, I know they're going to have acts across 10 stages, is what they're saying. But June in general, I think, is a really busy month for music festivals, because they have the Mariachi Festival in June, the Tri-Town Get Down, the Sacagawea Bluegrass Festival in Pasco at the state park is also happening. And Clover Island Inn, they have their Wednesday night free concerts from June to August. And they're considerably expanding their lineup for their Thunder on the Island this coming summer. So, and building a new stage. So they have a lot of things going on over there as well. So Yeah, and then there's the Tumbleweed
Right.
Festival over Labor Day weekend, I think in September.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have
Yeah.
quite a few things with events and entertainment, music, and of course Dara Quinn, she's amazing, just bringing, just really publicizing this area and bringing in all of these acts over years.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. And I forget the name of it, but you guys always do the YouTube video every week about what's coming up this weekend, right? Like what's that series called? I always
Oh,
every time
yeah.
I get the email, I always check it out just to see what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your weekend starts here.
That's it. Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that, that category maybe a little underserved because as Michelle's just rattled off, we can name, 10 to 12 different events that are happening just over the course of the summer, and we haven't even touched
Yeah.
on water follies and some of these other big things. So, but that kind of transitions us into these sort of signature events and the conversation there. If I jump forward on slides here, we've got a couple of big ones coming up this year that are really exciting. There've been a lot of work in this destination pre-COVID conversations with the Ironman group to bring an Ironman here, and they sort of drifted off through the pandemic and didn't come to fruition. Ironman's an event that is kind of dear to my heart. I was involved in it maybe 15 years ago as my first kind of interaction with the Ironman team, and I was working as a head of sports marketing for a destination in southern Utah, the what was at the time the St. George Convention and Tourism Office, and heading up sports. And somebody came into my office, and literally it was like the first month I had taken the job there, came in and said, "What would you think of having an Ironman here?" And I was just naive enough to say, sure, why not? And so we kind of went to work then, and over the course of about a year and a half or so, we finally were able to land that event and went on to host the full distance Ironman, the 70.3 Ironman. It became the 70.3 North American Championship, and then eventually won the bid to host the Ironman 70.3 World Championship. And then
Wow.
COVID pandemic hit, and they were canceling events all over the world. The 70.3, that's a championship that rotates around the globe, and it was supposed to be in New Zealand in 2020. Well, that wasn't going to happen in New Zealand. New Zealand was completely shut down, so they canceled that. We were supposed to host it in 2021, and we were able to pull that off in St. George in the 2021 race. But in the meantime, they had canceled other races too. The full distance Ironman race had been canceled, and because of our success and the relationship we had with Ironman, they came back to us and actually asked if we would be interested in hosting their full distance World Championship race. So over the course of 3 years, or sorry, the course of 13 months, we hosted 3 Ironman World Championships, 2 70.3s, and 1 full distance race. Okay, fast forward then, I left and come up here. There's already been some conversations about having a race here, and so I just reached out and said, what would you think? And here we are. Thanks to the foundation that's been laid and the relationships that we have, we're hosting a Ironman 70.3 race in September of 2024.
That's so great.
Yeah, so really
Yeah,
excited.
it's a huge accomplishment. Yeah, so good.
The fun news about that is I think we're already at 2,100 people have signed up, and
Wow.
representing 48 states and 9 countries. And
Wow.
then to even make that even more exciting, and another reason Michelle's here today, she's really handling the operations on this event. And Michelle, the bug hit you and you decided to get involved. What do you talk about that?
Yeah, I never thought I would do something like this. I would drive around in my car and I'd see the 70.3 stickers on the back windshield, back windshields of people's cars. And I just thought those people are crazy though. That's such a long distance. I could never do something like that. And then, yeah, well, when I started working here, I heard that Ironman was coming. And for a while I thought, well, I'll just do the relay. Maybe I'll find a group of people. It would be great to make a Visit Tri-Cities team relay, but nobody wanted to join me. So, so then I just thought, I don't know if I want to rely on other people, because you never know if someone's going to get hurt or injured, or they'll have to drop out. And I just thought, I already work out quite a bit, been working out for a couple of years. So I would just have to ramp everything up. And I just decided to go for it. But although I've been working out, I've never done any kind of endurance training. I'm not really a runner at all. And I could barely do a 5K. In fact, my first 5K was I think it was last April. No, it was just this past fall. It was in September. And it took me 38 minutes to finish a 5K. And now I'm down to finishing it in about 29 to 30 minutes. So
Wow.
I'm definitely getting better. And I'm training with a local trainer here, Jennifer Comfort Coaching. And so just really working with her and working with another local swim instructor over at PC Clinic. And I've just been putting in about 6 hours a week. And now I'm at about 8 hours a week now to 10 hours a week.
Wow.
So just kind of
Okay.
ramping that up slowly. Yeah.
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 That's cool. I mean, and had you read bicycles quite a bit, or
No,
is
I
that
actually
no?
really dislike riding my bike, and this
Oh,
course is going to be really difficult because it's actually quite hilly. I mean, you look at the Queensgate,
yeah,
Shockley over to Queensgate. I mean, that's quite the hill, but there are a
yeah,
lot of other hills that you don't even realize when you're driving around in the car. So even Tail Bridge, that's a hill, and Jacobs
true.
Road seems really flat, but that's a hill. So I'm a beginner, so for me it's
Yeah,
difficult. Yeah, yeah,
I think the thing that really excites me about the fact that Michelle's doing it, one, that she's in our office and represents that, but what it represents is just the passion and the drive of people to do something that's bigger beyond themselves. And you see that with Ironman athletes wherever you go. Most of them are running, racing for a cause, right? They've got some kind of a challenge, some kind of something that they're overcoming or they're fighting for. Maybe maybe it's a health situation, or maybe it's a family member. They're racing for a loved one who's got a challenge going on in their life or something like that. And so you find these stories in these people, 2,500 athletes who are all out there for some reason doing something really, really significant. And it's just inspiring. And then
yeah,
to go with that, now you bring the community into it. You have all of our agencies involved, the police and emergency support people, all of the volunteers that get involved, and all of those people have stories too. And suddenly you've got this whole grouping that's like, taking over a community who are
yeah.
fighting for something good, right? They're doing it. They're doing something really significant. And I've used the phrase a couple of times. I heard this somewhere, but there's a concept called cathedral thinking. And it's the idea that people don't just want to lay bricks, they want to build cathedrals. And this
Mm,
gives us an opportunity as a community to build a cathedral to overcoming adversity, doing something significant in the world, and supporting each other in doing it. And so that's one of the reasons I love these signature events. They bring in a lot of economic impact, and we haven't even talked about that, but they
yeah,
bring in a spirit and an energy in a community that shows that we're about doing good. We're about overcoming difficult things and working together to do it. And people see that and recognize it when they're in the event, and they see it from afar too. I think an event like this gives us a lot of street cred as a community, that just shows who we are and what we're about.
yeah. In fact, the Ironman tagline is, "We inspire ordinary people to do extraordinary things." So I think, that really plays into what Kevin said, and just everyone being just willing to be involved. And it will take the whole community to pull this event off. We're looking for over 1,000 volunteers. And so if you're willing to volunteer, we'd love to have you. So please call our office and we can get you connected.
Oh, that's great. I think maybe just one other thought along those same lines about what the opportunity is for the whole community and the community involvement, which is a really key point. I think um, the number of participants that you named earlier, Kevin, which seems pretty significant. I got to think like a lot of these people never been to the Tri-Cities before, right? And I think that's this unique opportunity that we all have, and all the events that you do, Ironman maybe especially so, is to bring people that have never been here and wouldn't come, pull off the road, if you
Right.
will, in the Tri-Cities and experience what we really have. And that was even our own family's personal experience, right? We drove through the Tri-Cities hundreds of times, going to Portland or back and forth to even southern Idaho from northern Idaho, because it's quicker to go through the Tri-Cities than it is to go up and down the state. And just never got off the highway until we came down here for this job. And I mean, our predecessors have called the Tri-Cities like an oasis in the desert or things like that. And I think it's a really cool way. All the visuals and the videos and everything you guys have on your website to promote the Tri-Cities, it really is like that. And until you get off the highway and experience it, you don't really know. So the Ironman's a great example of just like pulling in new visitors, having fresh eyes on our community and being able to show off what we have. I think we're so excited to again help out and partner and do everything we can to show off our community, and just kudos to you guys for pulling this off. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
there's
you.
going to be up to 2,500 athletes. That's the cutoff for registration. And I
Okay.
mean, each athlete is going to be bringing at least 4 guests with them. So I mean, that's huge. And then the fact that Ironman is a global brand and they have their reach within just their own marketing is, I mean, it's enormous. So their social media, they have across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, they have over 5 million visitors to those sites. And so now that we're a destination for Ironman, that really puts us on the map.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
The participants tend to have that sort of A-type personality too, where they're gonna talk about their experience, they're gonna share it, they're gonna and to think about too, one of the things that really, I mean, when I moved up here, same thing. I wasn't certain if it was the destination for an Ironman, and then I got walking around down at Columbia Point Marina and along the trail system in the river and saw all of the amenities that we have and the capability. This is going to be a spectacular race. The venue is really remarkable, and we could talk through that if you want to, but I want to go back and make sure we don't miss the kind of the economic side of this. With those athletes and everybody coming to town, the direct economic impact of that event will probably be about 8 million in direct impact that week.
Wow.
But then you think about the ancillary impact that comes from that. Typically the athletes will come here. They want to experience the course beforehand. There's a good percentage of them that will be here in the next couple months trying to, the ones that are close to try and get a sense of what the course is like and training and whatever. And then what we found, I've seen this in other destinations, is they get here and they want to come back. Now they want to bring their family back and just relax. And so that continues to escalate the economic impact of the event. And the stories that go out and the media attention and everything just all makes that just a wonderful event. I think I might just share screen real quick and show off the course. We'll talk through that really quickly. But basically the event starts, the main hub of it is at Columbia Point Marina. That's where all the transition area will happen. The bikes, imagine 2,500 bikes racked in a lot there. But the athletes will actually start at Howard Amon Park. So the swim starts upstream at Howard Amon, and they'll come down and finish at Columbia Point Marina, where they get on the bike and jump on the bike course. And this is, it's going to be small. You're not going to see this exactly, but Michelle was talking us through some of the hills. And you'll see that they'll come out of Columbia Point Marina, cross over, this is Bradley Boulevard here, and then they cross over and run through Aaron Drive and up and over the Dupertel Bridge, up to Keene Road, over to Shockley Road, which takes them up the West Cliff area. So that's the big hill right there where you come right up over the top of Queens Gate and then drop down into Cottonwood and over to Badger Road. And I was talking through this course with Michelle, and she was explaining in her mind it's all uphill.
Right.
Like there is no down, but there are a lot of hills surprisingly in the Tri-Cities.
Yeah.
We think of it as pretty flat, but when you're riding it, it's a little more uphill. So there's a little bit of elevation in all of this. Come around Jacobs Road, so you'll pass Goose Ridge over here, back down Dallas, and over through West Richland, Keene to Van Giesen, back over the highway up University, and back down George Washington Parkway, and jump
Okay.
off the bike there. That's your 56 miles, a one-way loop. There are, as you can see, there are going to be some traffic impacts. The bikes go unobstructed, so their course is nonstop. So we'll be creating a lot of communication to communicate, tell people when the times of these areas will be closed, what the detour routes options will be. One of my biggest recommendations is, if you're concerned about it, one of the best things you can do is just get involved that day. You will have an incredible experience being involved in the event, and you won't be worried about the traffic, congestion or whatever. 2,500 athletes coming through that is a lot. But that's the bike route. And then they jump off the bike and they're starting down here at Columbia Point Marina, and put on the running shoes and head up. You'll loop around, head up the trail system up to WSU Tri-Cities at the top of the loop here, and come on back down. And so a beautiful run course along the river to a spectacular finish again at Columbia Point, where everybody's going to be just there's going to be so much energy down there on race day. And so we encourage people to kind of get involved, learn about it. We'll provide as much information as possible to communicate the traffic impacts and what to do. I don't even know if we mentioned the date. I think it's September 22nd on Sunday.
That's awesome. I think I know, Kevin, and your team worked on the bike course for a while. I think that looks like a really good course. It's cool that it goes basically to Benton City and then through West Richland and Richland, and just spreads it out in the community. That's exciting. I think it's you guys have a lot of work to do between now and then, and anything we can do to help get volunteers out and stuff. Like Michelle said, it's really critical to get the community support out for that. But what a huge accomplishment and a huge opportunity for our community.
We're really thankful. We're really thankful that they're all partnering with us. City of Richland, City of West Richland, Benton County. And as you can see, just from the bike, there's so many agencies that need to be involved, from fire to the various police departments, and making sure they have the staffing. So it's been a great all agency effort, and whatever we don't think of, they think of. It's been an excellent partnership all around. We've been having meetings for months, and we're going to continue having those until the day of. So, and then hopefully next year we'll just be a well-oiled machine, and it'll be really easy. That's always the goal, right? So,
that's right. Sure, there'll be a lot of lessons learned.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But we love having the community involvement, and any questions people have, we welcome them. So absolutely give us a call, see if there's any way you want to get involved, or if there's anything we can do to help you the day of. We're definitely willing to listen and figure things out with you.
So one other event, Karl, that I want to shed some light on, I had it in the graphic before, but this World Horseshoe Tournament, and I kind of started with my Yuck mug. But that's another really, really neat event, and it just takes us on a completely different spectrum. This is a different kind of athlete, but these are world champions in their own right. That's coming in the end of July, it'll be in the Toyota Center and Toyota Arena. So we bring in horseshoe pits. They have a special clay that they use in these pits, and we'll put that up in both those facilities. They'll pitch indoor for about 10 days of horseshoe pitching, where people will roll through based on their classifications, all the way up to, from people that might be pitching, say 10% ringers, can pitch against people in their classification, but it goes all the way up to 90%. And the world champion, the men's world championship, is Alan Francis. He's just a dominant force in horseshoe, pitches 90% ringers. You've never seen a machine like that. Just stands up there and throws ringer after ringer after ringer after ringer. And I think he's won 27 world titles. I mean, he just is phenomenal. So you've got that on the one side that you'll see, and then on the women's side, and I know we're celebrating International Women's Day today, the women's champion, current women's champion, was pitching about the same level as Alan was in the juniors. And so she was just beating everybody in the juniors and jumped up to the women's top division, and has won 2 in a row now, I think. She's like an 18-year-old girl now. And so you this really neat combination of people coming in, again, from all over the country. I'm sure we'll have a lot of Canadians come down because there are a lot of pitchers in Canada too, and because it's in the Northwest this time. That's another fun event. Just we'll bring
it's huge.
Bring in a bunch of people from around the world. Create some economic impact and some fun in the community too.
And I have to say, Kevin's being modest because, I know I'm doing the Ironman, but Kevin is pitching in the World Championship.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to get qualified still. I haven't qualified yet.
Oh, you can do it.
But I told the horseshoe pitchers years ago when I got involved with that event, we tried to bring it to St. George, and I said, if we get the event, I'll pitch in the tournament. So I did. We won the bid to sit. I ended up getting qualified and pitched, and then have since pitched in several world tournaments. Again, I'm not Alan Francis, but I do have a trophy. So.
Wow. Well, Kevin, are you 10%? Are you 20? Like, how many ringers are you throwing? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. So I tend to fall between 20 and 30%. 30's.
Whoa.
My best game ever was a 50% game. But you play against people that are in your same range, which makes it really challenging. Competition's good, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to try and get qualified again this year. I haven't had the shoes out for a long time. I got to pull them out and do it again, but we'll see if we can do it. And I, encourage anybody else to do that too. It's the opportunity. Basically, you have to pitch in 4 sanctioned tournaments. We have a couple of those that will happen with the Tri-Cities Club here, the local club, that you could do those coming up, and then there's a couple throughout the state that you could pop off to and do too. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, I guess I just learned something because when we have our building summer party and we have that horse pitching tournament, I am not going to pitch against you. So.
Oh, you never know, man. You might just be natural.
But hey, well, we got the yard out here. I mean, maybe we should put a horseshoe. What do you call it? Couple of pits.
We should do it. We could go out at lunch breaks and throw some ringers. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that's great. We're down to 5 minutes, and I wanted to bring up, Kevin. I know we all serve on the Manhattan National Park Committee, and you mentioned it before that the B reactor will actually be open. They thought they were going to be closed, but now they're going to be open for a limited period of time for some tours, and then the virtual tour. And I just wanted to give a plug out to that before we wrap up. I think Tracy put it in the chat before, but if she hasn't, we could put it in there, because I think those virtual tours, especially once they do shut down for maintenance on the roof, are pretty incredible. I think, we think about Manhattan Park and the B reactor, but then, Becky Burkhart and her team from the National Park have put together, as well as like the WSU historians, put together so much information on that virtual tour, not only about like the Hanford plutonium mission, but then also, like you said, Kevin, our community and some of these World War II heritage sites, which Can you give us kind of overview of, I know that the
Yeah.
Tri-Cities is a World War II heritage city, right? So maybe you want to give us an overview on that. I just think it's really cool. I wanted to make sure we talked about it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the tee up on that because a lot of work has gone into that too. To become an American World War II Heritage designated city was kind of a trick for us because we're three cities, and
Yeah.
four kind of, but
Yeah.
each state can have one city that has that designation through the National Park Service, and so our team went to work. Gretchen Guerrero did some incredible work on this side to try and facilitate,
Yeah.
along with the National Park Committee, uh, making that make sense. And so our communities have been designated as American World War II Heritage City. We have a lot of sites, pre-war and through the war, that are very significant in that, the development of what the outcome of the war, as
Yeah.
you know. And so these virtual tours that National Park Service has put together really give you a chance to kind of get in and understand the depth of it at your own speed and your own pace. And I think I would recommend them to anybody, to learn and understand that era and then come and experience those things personally. This year, if you can get into the B reactor and do that, and your experience will be that much better when you've had that immersive virtual experience. But also then, break out and look at some of those other World War II heritage sites that are in our community because they tell the story. I don't know. You might get a sense from this conversation. I'm about stories. I love to understand
Yeah.
people's reasons and rationales for why they do things and what makes them who they are. And we have so many of those stories in our community from the World War II heritage that are just phenomenal. It's fun to dig into that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks for that. Thanks for bringing that up. I think it's, uh, like you said, it's such a cool story, and it's just part of our history and heritage that, for visitors or folks that live here, really cool opportunity. Before I give you guys a kind of a closing statement, I did want to bring up, and this I think is going on now, the Northwest Athletic Conference. So I think it's the conference that CBC's in, right? Like CBC's
Mhm.
actually hosting the men and women's basketball tournament at CBC, I think right now. Is that the
Yeah.
case?
Yeah, it's going on this week and then next week again. I think these are the preliminary
Okay.
rounds this week, and then the championships happen next week. Another exciting
Okay.
event. Yeah. So
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to them. I mean, we all get excited for March Madness, but here's some local games that you can go to with our own CBC Hawks that are participating in it. So I wanted to give them a shout out too.
thank you. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Um, so we're almost out of time. Let's go to some closing comments. Michelle, you want to kick us off with thank you for joining us, and thank you for being inspired by the Ironman to actually participate. I think that's great. I assume that you might be the only person in our building that's representing all of us. So thank you. We're all here to support you. But any last closing comments?
I would say I just wanted to give a shout out actually to our marketing team. They did such a great job. We have our new visitor guide is out. So you guys
Oh
can
yeah,
start watching for that. We're distributing those among all the hotels and local businesses. And so you can really find all of the categories, the wineries and vineyards, river rec, history and science. You'll find all those categories there and really take a look through there because I've lived here since 2008, and whenever I read this, I learn something new. So absolutely check it
yeah.
out. And it's also available electronically, so online on our website.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining us this morning. Good luck
Thanks for
training,
having
and
me.
always stay safe. Don't
Thank you.
yeah, train safely.
Yes, thank
Kevin, how
you.
about you? Thanks. Thank you both for your time. And Kevin, do you have some closing comments for us? Thanks for making the time for us. This has been a really, really good overview of all the great work that you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you, Karl, for the invitation and the opportunity to kind of share. I think what I would do is just kind of go back to my experience in coming here. I'm into this position now about a year and 3 months or so. Came up from Southern Utah where I'd been for 31 years. And I really got to just say thank you to the community for the embrace that they have made to me. I think what that did to me is it just represented what this community was all about and made it so easy for me to sell. And sell is not the word, but it's that, to talk about and share what a great community we have. And what I've seen up here is there's just so many gems, and sometimes you just have to look just a little over the horizon to see them, to dig in just a little bit. But there's so much good here, so many good people. The relationships that I've my wife and I have made over the course of the year. We were, it's funny, we were sitting at a middle school orchestra concert this week, and and we pulled out of that, and we probably knew 40, 50 people in that room that night.
Wow.
Thought, how in the world, could you have even imagined a year and a half ago that we'd be sitting at a middle school orchestra concert? We don't have any kids in there. We don't have, and yet we knew the community, we knew the people, and that's the embrace that we have found here. And I think if we remember what good we have here and celebrate it, the world will come. They'll continue to come, and they'll see what we have here, and it's great.
Yeah. Very well said. Well, thank you both for joining us this morning. Great discussion. You guys are doing a great job. Look forward to all these great events coming up. I look forward to, I guess, building our horseshoe pit in the backyard here at
there you go.
At the business center, the Grand Ridge Visitor Center. Yeah, but you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for your time. And for everybody, thanks for joining us. And this is the 5th season of Coffee with Karl. We'll have more webinars coming up. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.